Inside Saluki Athletics, presented by Pagliai of Carbondale, the official coaches show of Saluki Athletics. Now, here is the voice of the Salukis, Luke Martin.
Discover the authentic taste of tradition at Pagliai's Pizza, a Carbondale landmark proudly serving Southern Illinois for over 55 years. Located at 509 South Illinois Avenue, their family-owned pizzeria is renowned for its commitment to fresh, high-quality ingredients and time-honored recipes that make Pagliai's a favorite for Southern Illinois pizza lovers. Welcome, everybody, back to Inside Saluki Athletics, presented by Pagliai of Carbondale. Great to have you with us each and every week as head coach Nick Hill joins us as he does to start off each show here throughout the fall season. Coach, always good to see you, especially on a Tuesday afternoon, getting the week going. And, you know, with you, of course, being a former athlete here, there's always, I'm sure, really good emotions for you when everybody kind of gets rocking and rolling a bit on campus. And when your office now, look, there's always noise going on while you're walking through the arena. But as you keep gearing up for the year, obviously, with your group, and then all of a sudden you start seeing Coach Nagy and his staff, Coach Bond White and her staff, and then now the arena is really hopping these days when you get and come into work.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's a fun time of the year. That's what I think makes this place special. You know, some places you go, you know, people have their different buildings, or especially at the higher levels, you know, there's the football buildings, there's the basketball building. And you really don't get to know the other staffs that well, maybe the head coaches, or you have a relationship, but you don't see them on a day-to-day basis. I like that about our place, where you're up and down the hallway, or if you're coming to the academic center, you go by everybody. So you're able to build relationships and see everybody. We share the same weight room, you know, so you get to see even the student athletes. Like, I enjoy getting to know the basketball guys, and you know, just watching as a coach. You know, I wrote Coach Bond White's one of their players. Like, when you go by, you just see like a work ethic and somebody that's working hard, or you see it, you can encourage them as well. And softball, obviously, getting to see them and how hard they always work in the weight room and push their teams. And so, yeah, I think that's what makes this place special.
Why is that important, though, for you to make sure that you make that connection, too? Because everything can be in front of you, yet we can all still go into your little rabbit holes and stay within your side of a building. You always do make it a point to make sure that whatever it is, regardless of the season, that's an important thing for you to have that type of relationship, and not just with coaches, not just with their assistants, but you really do take the time to really get to know the student athletes as well and the other teams.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I like you know, young people, young athletes. You know what they're going through. You know, that's hopefully why most people get into coaching, is because they like young people and having an impact on them. Obviously, when you're not their coach, you can, you know, have that conversation, or you know if somebody's playing well or it's a tough loss, and you know what it's like, or you hope other coaches are seeing our guys and kind of being that, whether it's uplifting or getting their mind off something, talking to them, finding out about who they are. And it just, I mean, for any student athlete, when you're walking around the building and you know people are taking interest in who they are as people and stuff, like, makes their experience a lot better. And so ultimately, I love this school. Being a part of the basketball program, you want every student athlete here to be like, man, there was good people around, and that's what makes, you know, your experience the best.
Well, and that's what makes, you know, the type of season I know you're having in the last couple of weeks really hard, is that you have a really good group, Coach Hill, in terms of the personalities within your locker room, your coaching staff, your guys. You put a lot of work into this thing, and it's kind of like you told us after the game on Saturday, is, you know, when it's your livelihood, it stinks, and you just feel gutted when you have a result like you did on Saturday. What are the ways where now, when you're kind of going through this, and it is what it is, what are ways where you try to make sure that you're mentally there, you pick yourself up, because you know everybody else has got to keep this thing going and moving too?
No, it's a good question. I don't know if anybody has the right answer. I think, you know, relationships are such a big thing. You can't go through anything alone. We weren't built for that as human beings, I don't think, you know, where you just close everything off and try to get through things. And, you know, there is a point in that where you've got to be tough, and you got to lace up your boots and get to work, and there's part of that. But there's also, having a good perspective and leaning on people. I mean, shoot, yesterday we talked about Chris yesterday.
Yeah.
Me and Chris just went for like a 25-minute walk around campus. Like stuff like that is good. You need people that you talk to and kind of bring you back to life a little bit. And so you appreciate that. You also remember that, like we just talked about, like when other people need that, of being there, like as coaches, whatever sport, like there's tough times. And so I think it is important. And I talked to our staff about that is, you have to have some type of outlet outside of it, or it'll really consume you. You feel like the walls are shrinking in on you sometimes, where whether it's getting out of the office or doing something that you enjoy. We all understand the work that has to be put in, but it's also not become, because then I feel like you're not fun to be around, and in these times you have to catch yourself to that. Like, those guys in the team meeting have to feel like their coaches are just as excited, and so you have to lead well. That's what I talked to our staff on Sunday, just, the role of the head coach, the role of us as assistants, the role of us as leaders, what that really means. And it's leading. You can't lead with like a downers mentality or whatever. So you've got to find that strength and that optimism, and you got to come to work with a belief too, because these guys, if I've learned anything, I mean, they can see through the bull crap, like if you're just trying to put on something. So it's got to be genuine about yourself and understand the hard work that's got to be put in, and also enjoying the people that you're around to try to get through it.
Look, Coach Hill, I think whenever you're involved in it, there's a lot of stress that come with the positions that you're in. There's a lot of stress with the student athletes, vice versa. There can be vice versa, I should say. There can be people in my positions can be stressful to do, but what you always got to remember, what you get to do is fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not fun when you take the results like you've had the last multiple weeks in a row, but be thankful and appreciative of still what you get to do every day. There's a lot of folks that would sign up to want to still be in the spot that you're in. And I think that's why it's important for guys like yourself, your coaching staff, even for the players too, for you guys in that role, to always just remind each other, like, what you get to do each and every day. This is not just a guarantee. And there's going to become a time where you're going to be like, man, what I would do just to go back to that moment.
Oh, yeah. No, I think that's a great point and perspective to have. I mean, I'm the first one to say, man, I get to coach football for a living. Like, that is my job and livelihood. And, losing games, that's not a real world problem. That's a problem in your profession, and you have to do well, just like any line of work, that you do. If you're not doing it at a high level, you're finding the reasons why, and you're working your butt off to become better. But in the grand scheme of things in life, like you said, like, there's people out there, and I challenge our team a lot, like, just, open up your eyes today, and you're going to see somebody that's got some worse circumstances than you. When you try to tell that person, like, why are you down? Well, we got beat on Saturday, and that would be offensive to them. Like, they have something really, maybe a sickness or, life like that's real tough. Like, you don't even want to bring that up to them. So you better lift yourself up, get going. So, because what are you going to explain to them? Like, well, we've lost some games. Like, then you're playing a game, that is supposed to be fun and all of those things. So there's a fine balance in that of not making yourself miserable in these times, and I try not to do that.
Let's get to the game over the weekend course at Indiana State, and you knew whoever was going to come out in that game, whether it was us or it was Indiana State. Those were two teams that were going to have to fight through a game and fight through some adversity that they haven't been able to fight through yet this year in terms of coming through and getting a win in that way. Man, let's start with the positives, though. The ending of the first half. I know it's easy to go to how the game ended, but complimentary football, being able to turn Indiana State over, turn it into points. That was the most complimentary football we've seen from your team in the final 6 minutes of that second quarter. And honestly, we probably haven't seen in quite a while since really Austin Peay probably the fourth quarter.
Yeah, no, I mean, situational football, 2-minute, scoring with almost a minute left, so you're going to have to play some defense. They have timeouts. We have timeouts. Saving our timeouts to be able to, run the ball there at the end and get into field goal range and going down with a minute and everybody on the same page of knowing what we're trying to accomplish. And, yeah, just – it really comes down when you have time to really reflect and look back. I mean, it's hard to win a game turning the ball over 3 times and a half, turning the ball over where they get points out of it, where they didn't have to go and earn it. Even if we have to punt there, we pick up a first down and we got to go punt. We flip the field going that direction. We have the wind. So Paul flipping the field, and then, their drive that they had to go on, it took them 11 minutes or something like that. So we weren't giving up big plays, but when you find yourself in that, then you have to will yourself through that, when they are going on their first drive offensively, you feel like you go down and score on a fumble. And then, the whistle blows. You got to go and get a stop right there and make them kick a field goal. I think, a lot of positives to build on as far as the defense goes. Turning them over twice, not giving up explosive plays, the one run from the quarterback, but 4 explosive plays. That's what we marked. Runs over 12, passes over 16, only 4 of them in 67 snaps. So they had to earn everything, holding them to 74 yards passing, where we've been giving up quite a few passing yards. So some of the things in the bye week that we put in that we can't give up chunk plays. I mean, a lot of things that we have to get turnovers, more than one in a game. A lot of things that we did and could have been, 3 turnovers and scoring on defense, but we didn't. And so there's still some things that we've got to continue to grow in and get better at, but there was a lot of positives in that game, but we just didn't get the win.
Look, there are many ways where I think our fans know kind of how the process goes. I want to be careful in the way of how I ask it to you. When I ask you this question, I'm not saying this is the reason. Obviously, things did not go well on Saturday. But in terms of the strip that Jamond had in the game, where the whistle, of course, blows, inadvertent whistle, forward progress, when those type of plays happen in terms of the aftermath, is that stuff as you as coaches to give our fans a little bit of aspect of how the process goes? Do you ever hear directly from the officiating office, the head of officials of, look, like that was either a mistake, whatever, vice versa, right call, et cetera, or is that something you guys always have to initiate? Is there ever a process where the league office comes in and says anything to you guys about a certain play?
No, I've never had the league office just you can send in as many plays as you want to get a ruling on.
Which isn't your thing.
Yeah,
that's not.
I mean, we always do. Sometimes it's more like how you want to coach things up, or just get an answer on, and how are you guys. I think it's important for us to know the crew. Like, what are you looking at right here? How could we teach this better? Sometimes a lot of times there's no flag, but is this holding or is this not holding? Like, I feel like this is defensive holding right here. Like, if not, we're going to start coaching our guys up to do it, or whatever it is, so you can get an answer on a lot of different plays. You can send as many as you want in. So you always do that, teaching your team in the moment. Once that whistle's blown and they make a decision, like, it's not going back. And so we have to respond in the correct way, and we talk about owning our response. And so in that moment, like, it is what it is. Like, you can't go back. And, Jamon was playing at a high level, some of that right there. Then he ran, 70 yards. And then we had to take him out for a couple reps, and you wish he would have still been in there. But, yeah, we just have to respond the right way.
From our standpoint, it's always tough when you're in the press box and Coach Orr is down the field with you guys kind of off in the corner. But even with the pick six, some of those plays not going your way, it felt the morale was still good with your group. The one play that, and I don't want to just put on one play because it's not just one play, but the one moment where you felt it started to kind of flip was the 4th and 2 conversion, where you pick it up easily and it was kind of, man, picked it up. And then just at the very end, the ball gets put on the turf. That seemed like that was the play that really flipped things there in that game, even though I know momentum was on Indiana State's side, but it's still, it still felt like one of those games that your guys were still in good morale, if that's a fair characterization.
Yeah, I think so. I think right there it's, waiting on that play to go get the momentum back, and it wasn't that they were stopping us, the play that, we had just, I think, picked up like a 12 or 13-yard run, and the next play we throw a pick six, move the ball down, and Lindauer goes for a 52-yard run. We're at the 2-yard line. It's their ball. The third turnover, we're moving the ball. Now we're in plus territory. We're in 4-down territory. We go, we pick it up, we fumble. So it was, those self-inflicted problems, and they were gaining some momentum, the pick six, and then they go on a long drive. And now we have a chance to respond, make it 24-14. They had taken up so much of the third quarter on that drive. Time was going to start coming down with 2 possessions. And they started playing confidently, and we weren't able to get it done there at the end in 2 minutes.
And really the biggest things, too, as we talked about after the game on Saturday, which before kind of our last touching point on the game before we move over to Missouri State this weekend, is even that long drive. Get them in 3rd and 5, jump off sides, pick up a first down on a penalty. Obviously the 2 drops, one to Hezzy and then Keontes in the second half too, which I think was in response from the pick six, one of the first plays after. Talk about swinging momentum back the other way. There's a lot of things you can point to, whatever, but those were the internal ones where you go, man, if you flip those, I mean, you never know what will happen.
Yeah, no, and obviously those guys, drops are part of it, and I mean this week I will throw them right back to them. Those are 2 guys that have made a lot of plays for us this year. I think even looking at Keontes, I think with catchable balls, like his target, I mean we're like 88% when we throw it his way. I mean, so he doesn't drop a lot of balls.
And he's playing through a lot.
Yeah,
too,
I mean he didn't practice one time all week. Throughout the bye week and everything. Like he has a broken bone in his hand. They did an MRI that felt like bracing him up. It was like an aggravated older injury, and so let him play. That's not why he dropped the ball, but they, and really for Jake, his response after the pick six, like you're a freshman, you throw a pick six, the momentum, you got to jog back over, and then your first throw post pick six could go for a 80 or 90-yard touchdown. It makes things feel a lot better. And in that moment, man, that was a good ball. Did everything right, and we've got to be able to help him out. When you're a freshman quarterback, you got to play good around him. You got to make those plays. Felt like he threw a really good ball in the 2-minute situation to Hezzy on the in-breaking route that we would have been in plus territory, first down. We had timeouts, and we didn't come up with the catch, and now we're behind and take a sack. And so I thought Jake, honestly, probably played his best game as far as some of those balls he threw. He's always going to have, a few that he wants to get back or his progression, but he got through his progressions. He let the ball fly, did some good things, scored his first touchdown, and so a lot of things to build off for Jake as well.
A lot of things to build off of, and also for Michael Lindauer. And I thought Michael gave you everything that you could ask for. You feel for the guy because he gets that big run as you described, and obviously gets stripped at the very end. I mean, for his situation, for what he's doing for your group, I mean, and we're going to have him on the show to talk about today. I just don't think there's much more you could have asked from Michael.
God, I mean, he plays in one game, now he gets on your show.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. You may get a couple other guys on your staff that may try to do that.
Yeah, no, exactly. I wish we could play Terry.
No doubt.
See if he's still got a year left. But no, yeah, I was proud of Mike. I mean, just we've talked about it. I talked about it just a minute ago on my press conference. Just everything it's unselfish of what he's doing. He doesn't have to do it. He comes back. He brought us good energy. He's a captain on our team now, which is deserving. It's like having a coach in the locker room and all the things. He's been unbelievable for Jake. He hasn't made it about him or, how many reps he was going to get. I knew he was sick after. I mean, honestly, I'm always going to remember that, when he throws the touchdown pass, the excitement and everything. Like those are those are moments that he'll always remember. Even getting off the bus, we're back and I'm helping clean up the buses, and he made a point to come down and find me and gave me a hug and was just like thankful. He wishes it wouldn't have happened or the fumble, but what it meant to even his grandma after the game. Like, never thought he was going to get to see, they've got to see Branson play, and Michael was even a bigger recruit than Branson was, and I've never got to see him suit up and play. She's in tears afterwards of happiness, of like, proud of their grandson and the way that he's withstood surgeries and 2 different schools. And so, you're happy to see like what this game brings to not just, him as a kid, as a young man, and then also the families getting to see him out there doing it.
No doubt. Let's end on Missouri State. This is a team that, of course, if they were eligible for the postseason, they'd be going because of the year that they're having. And Coach Beard, they've really flipped it of kind of a year last year where they were going through some injuries, losing some key pieces, Clark being a big one there at quarterback who's healthy. This is probably going to be the best. I don't want to speak for you, but in terms of dynamic offenses that you've seen this year, if Missouri State's not the best, they're right up there with the offenses that you've seen and are going to see.
Yeah, no, I think that we told the team that today, and, when we scout and report and talk to the guys, like, this is the best, all-around offense that we've seen. We've seen Incarnate work at throw it every down and the explosiveness that they have, but as far as just pro style, they can beat you with the pass, they can beat you running it, they throw screens, they do a variety of things, they got good skill, they got a great quarterback, they got a great back. It's going to be, they've had a really good year. They've scored 40 points, 3 games in a row. We've been there before too. It's 4-0, and you really haven't played, the top end of the league yet. But this team is built. Coach Beard's done a great job. Obviously, a lot of momentum moving up. And I think Coach Petrino does a great job with their offense. Obviously, learning from his dad, I think they do a great job of schematically, game to game, setting you up on attacking what you do. So you can't, so what I've talked to the staff, just because they did this last game doesn't mean they're going to do it this game. They're going to come after what you do and what you've put on film, and so they do a really good job.
And you look at those lone 2 losses the first 2 games of the year.
Yeah, could have won both of them.
Could have won both of them.
That's what I told the team today. They could be undefeated.
Yeah, especially with how they played against Ball State and Missouri and Montana to start off the year. It was definitely a really good, talented team that we'll see this weekend in Springfield. And, Coach, look forward to making another road trip. And for me, I'll be Ryan Orr with you guys, and I catch a flight afterwards to South Dakota.
Big time.
So it's all,
it's big time.
It is crossover season indeed. Coach Hill, appreciate the time as always.
Appreciate it.
Once again, that was head coach Nick Hill. Join us here. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Davion Sykes, who joins us as tonight. Saluki basketball returns to Banterra Center. Michael Lindauer and Coach Graham Orr from Saluki Soccer still to come. Pagliai's Pizza is more than just a restaurant. It's a Southern Illinois tradition with new owners Jason and Sula and SAU alumni. They continue the legacy of excellence set by our founders. Every visit to Pagliai's promises the same exceptional quality and warm, welcoming atmosphere that customers have loved for decades. Here to close out Inside Saluki Athletics, presented by our friends at Pagliai's of Carbondale. Whether you're craving a classic pizza or playing a special event, Pagliai's Pizza is here to provide an unforgettable dining experience. Come and taste why we've been a beloved part of the Southern Illinois pizza scene for generations. Welcome back to Inside Saluki Athletics, which is presented by Pagliai's of Carbondale. Tonight, when you come out to Banterra Center, you'll be able to see this smiling face, as well as many others of his Saluki basketball teammates, Davion Sykes, as the Salukis with their final exhibition tune-up before they get the season going a week from Monday. Less than a week now, because this is on Tuesday. Davion, appreciate the time, man. What's it like right now knowing we're here? I mean, it's here now, brother. You got game day today and then real things starting next Monday.
Yes, sir. Definitely very anxious to get everything started. It's going into my junior year. I'm ready to make a lot of noise. Brand new team, so I'm really optimistic about how this year is, and just spending time with my teammates. I think we could be really good this season.
You've had already one closed exhibition against Iowa. You've had so many practices since then, and last time we were able to catch up with you was back in the summer. So when you look at it from just your perspective, Davion, where have you grown the most, especially here in the fall with so many opportunities in practice, already a closed exhibition, of course, one more tonight against North Park?
I think, just adjusting to the new program, new team, and new faces, just being able to find my way and, be able, to produce on this team or, be able to, have Coach trust me. So, just being able to do that, I think that's where I kind of have improved.
You guys as a team, when you just have that many reps, it's going to cause for a lot of room of improvement. I think I think fans would see when they come and watch you practice now, a lot different than if they saw you in the summer. Mm-hmm. What has you most encouraged from a team aspect of areas where you guys have continued to improve, Davion?
Man, just being able, to have a really versatile team, from top to bottom. And like Coach says, he kind of still doesn't know who's where or he just keeps saying it. So, just being able to have a real versatile team and the fact that, when your name is going to be called, if it's called or just when it's called, just be ready because we have such a talented team overall. And, also knowing that as a player, you have to be on your high horse. So you want to still be in that rotation and, still, play and get those minutes. So, there's a lot, going into this team right now.
There is so much going into it. But the other side of it, too, Davion, is, there are only 5 spots to start a game. But it's not just going to be 5 guys who play all 40 minutes. How do you approach the year in terms of making sure you're ready whenever it's called? If you're a starter, that's great. But you also know there's going to be other minutes throughout a game that are going to be extremely valuable. That's where you got to be ready, too, if your name's called upon there. How do you mentally, as an athlete, prepare yourself to wanting to be a quote-unquote starter, but also knowing if you're not one of those 5 guys, it's not like you're not going to have a significant role or can eventually earn those starter minutes?
No, definitely. Just this being my 3rd year and kind of, playing the starting role and also, coming off the bench, I got to see both angles. So, just being ready when your name is called at all moments, is just really helpful. Just having the mindset of, if you're not going to start tonight, come in and still impact the game the way you would if you were starting. So, just being able to come in like if you were starting, it just gives you a whole different mentality of instead of, oh, I'm not starting, and then you have an attitude. But rather than, have a great attitude and be like, these are my minutes and, when my name is called, I am ready to play for, the amount of time that Coach gives me.
What do you do throughout the week, Davion? Look, we can point to the physicality of the game and your guys' practices, and we'll get that into a moment. But what are ways that you mentally make sure you're sharp and mentally give yourself a break when you can? Because it's a long season, man. There's a lot of games going on throughout the year where whenever you go to a game like tonight, you have to be fresh from a mental perspective.
No, definitely. Just being able to talk to my family and friends, just talking to them, not even about basketball. I have specific people who I talk to, when I don't want to talk basketball, so I call them. Or when I do want to talk basketball, I'll call other people. So, just being able to rely on the, people around me. Or, music also helps me a lot, too. Just be able to, kind of listen to music behind closed doors. I feel like I listen to everything. So, just being able to, listen to music, whenever my mood's high or low, it helps me to, it just soothes me.
When Davion Sykes walks in the Banterra Center tonight for this game, is there a go-to, certain playlists that you have before games? Is there a certain artist you go to? Is it just kind of depend on what kind of mood he is in walking in the gym? What's kind of Davion's go-to music on a game day or right before a game?
I like calm music. So anything that's really calm, I have a country playlist that I'll play.
Okay.
So, I listen to that, almost 24/7. That one helps me go to sleep too. So I'll go either there or if I'm listening to some R&B. So, it really relies on, both of those two genres. But, whichever one calms me the best in the moment is what's going to get played.
This past weekend, you're able to get to go home, which is kind of really the last hurrah, right? It's the last weekend you really get that's off before you get in the season mode. How good was that, just in terms to get that time for you, be able to unplug just a little bit, not all the way, but now you know it's go time really from here till the end of the season.
Yeah, just definitely, being able to go home. And, one thing big for me was I was able to go see my dog. So, just being able to see my dog, shout out to Champ, he's living well. So, just seeing that he's doing good without me right now, just gives me a great refresher. And, just being able to go back to the people that I love and, being able to see them was really well.
Of course, when you see Penny, at practices, that can probably remind you a little bit of Champ too.
No, definitely.
Tonight, I know exhibition game against North Park. You take every game seriously when you get to the arena, Davion, just from a team aspect. What are the things you guys are communicating right now of this is what we want to see tonight? These are the biggest things we want to accomplish, and, of course, winning the game.
No, just definitely just play hard. You can't take any team for granted, no matter what division they are. They're playing on the same floor as you on the same night, so anything can happen. So, just play hard and, be a team. Don't go out there, trying to show out, especially it being our first game. We're playing in front of people. Just kind of stay together, stay as a team, stay as one, and, just play our hardest.
What are the juices like knowing, yes, tonight it'll feel like a regular game? I know it is an exhibition game, but you'll have the fans in here. Just you had Iowa where it was a closed exhibition. No one could go. You've been through these through your years, Davion, just – when you know it's that first time you're kind of lacing up the shoes in front of fans, like what is that like for you when you're sitting in that locker room and, you're making your way out and there'll be people watching you for the first time?
Man, it's super exciting because it's probably been about, I want to say like 6-7 months since, the last time I played. So, it's just really exciting to get back out there, see some fans, hear some fans. That's always a good thing, hear the fans, when you make a shot, do something good. So, just being able to play in front of people and, just playing with the game I love, I think it makes everything better.
It's been an area that I asked all of you guys when we were together during the summer, have seen your strengths really show over the last couple of weeks specifically as the season is getting ramped up, Davion. Not necessarily to highlight all of your goals that you want for this year from a personal perspective, because I know team goals truly come first, but from a basketball standpoint, what are you like? I'm ready to show that this aspect of my game is at a level that no one has seen yet.
I'm ready to show people that I'm a 3-level scorer. Everybody's kind of seen me as just a 2-level scorer, just being able to get to the paint and also shoot mid-range. Just being able to knock down threes this year, open threes, or any three that I take. Just having a confidence in that. I've been working on it, and day by day, I keep getting more and more confident. So, just being able to show everybody that I am a 3-level scorer, it really excites me because I haven't been able to showcase that yet.
I know shooting is an area that the coaches, you guys as players have talked about of could be a strength. Don't know, maybe necessarily know exactly where it's going to be a strength because it could be anybody on any given night. From the work ethic, from what you've seen, the work ethic you've put into, Davion, what can be the potential of this team in terms of a shooting perspective while also building out those other areas, whether it's rebounding, defensively, you guys want to make part of your DNA for this team too?
All around, I feel like, we're a well-rounded team. From a shooting perspective, I think, just when we take the right shots, when we don't force, I think that'll, really determine, our shooting percentages and how well as we shoot as a team, just being able to, get the ball off a one more look to a corner or, just finding the open man, across the way. But, Coach is big on, getting the ball inside, getting to the free throw line. So, just being able to knock down free throws as well under pressure, in game-tight situations or, just being able to drive in there, get fouled, finish as well. So, overall, I feel like, we're going to be really well-rounded, because I feel like on any given night, we could get the 3-ball or we could go inside.
And so much can be pointed to shot selection, right? And it's not necessarily, okay, how good of a three-point percentage team can you be? Everyone wants to dive into the numbers, but it may not necessarily be the quantity of what you guys get. It's really the quality of those shots that you guys work on every day within the system with
Definitely.
Coach Nagy.
No, definitely. We definitely work on quality, not quantity. So, yeah, I think that would be a big factor, coming into this. And, I think if we all have the right mindset, going into the season, I think would be really good.
Final question to you, Davion, before we get you out here on a game day, before the game later on tonight. There is so much you can take away from a practice, but how much more do you guys as players get out of film that you'll get tonight that you got after Iowa? Of, you got talented teammates around you. You do learn when you watch them practice of things you need to improve on. But how much does nights like tonight really help you guys in going up against somebody else, regardless of whether it's a team from the Big Ten or whether it's a team from the Division III ranks that you'll have tonight?
I think it allows us, to kind of shake the dust off of, just the season, kind of get the nerves out, for the season, and just being able to, kind of see in a game setting of how our team is really going to be. So, just from the day by day, just from the wake up, shoot around to pregame meal to, getting warmed up as a team together. I think that's just all where it starts at. And, just, being ready and waking up, nothing gets better than, starting the season. So
there's no question about that. And it all starts tonight. Free event. I know Saluki Nation will come out. You guys as players, you love when the fans come out. They were at the meet and greet. It was a really good turnout. I'm sure, Davion, you and the guys would love to see a really good crowd later on tonight in Banterra.
Definitely love to see everybody come out.
Davion, thanks so much for taking time to stop in here on game day. We're going to be really excited to see you play later on tonight.
Yes, sir.
That was Davion Sykes for Saluki men's basketball. Again tonight, Salukis take on the Vikings of North Park for the final exhibition contest tonight. 6 o'clock, free admission, free parking. We hope to see you, Saluki Nation, here later on this evening. When we come back here on the program, it's going to be Michael Lindauer, quarterback for Saluki football, made his return to the field this past week. This is Inside Saluki Athletics, presented by Pagliai of Carbondale.
Okay, ready? Okay, base position here, and then you can take a step, go, and then go, you'll get the ball, put your knee in. That's all it is.
Now we can get to the true star of the show today. Michael Lindauer joins us here for Inside Saluki Athletics, presented by Pagliai of Carbondale. Sorry, Coach Hill. Not to say that Coach Hill's not the star of the show. You know, as we're you know, gotta love Coach Hill as we always do. But Michael joins us fresh off, back in uniform for the first time over the weekend. Lindy, good to see you, brother. I miss you up in the press box.
Yeah.
You know, we can look at each other, but I'm sure just like you thought when we were looking across from each other, like at BYU in those games, like, Luke, I'm going to be in uniform about halfway through the year.
No, that's what somebody was talking about. Like in June, if we would have sat here and said, like, hey, you're going to throw a pass come week 7, week 8, what would you do? I was like, I'd probably laugh at you, man. There's nothing I can really – I mean, that was like, who would have thought? But here we are. So.
Here we are in the situation that we are in. Michael, really do appreciate the time. I know – it was not the end result that you and the team won on Saturday. You wanted to try to come back to at least help in any way possible to get this thing for a chance to get to the postseason. I know it's not a realization now, but still, what was the moment like on Saturday for you to retake the field with so much of your family there?
Yeah, like I just said, not the result we wanted, not the result anybody wanted. Obviously, we want to win. I'm coming back to help this team win. That was the goal, was to win 5 in a row. Didn't happen, obviously. But just for me personally, yeah, I mean, amazing. Obviously, my grandparents didn't get to see me play. Parents, my aunt, my grandma are crying. It was obviously cool, and like to share that moment with the guys. Like you saw the sideline after I threw that touchdown. Like Coach Hill's going nuts, the defensive staff's going nuts. Like that, those are like stuff that you can't. You know, you picture how great it's going to be, but like once it happens, then it's like, oh my God, it's real. Like this is awesome.
Mike True did a really good job sitting down with you going into our pregame show and kind of developing your story. I don't want to re-ask all those questions that Mike asked you, but when was the time that with all the injuries that this team has encountered this year, Lindy, that you felt like, I need to stay in shape? Like just in the back of my mind, like I need to try to be aware that this could maybe be a possibility.
Yeah, so really when I took the job, obviously Coach Hill like mentioned it just like, hey, as a joke, like, hey, you never know, it might happen. But obviously reality kind of came quicker than we all would have hoped or ever thought. But once ET and Camp got hurt, then it was like, oh, you know, Mike, you might have to come back. Like, you never know. Like, you know, a little joke, a little laughs here and there. Like, obviously Hunter and DJ are here, so never think about it. Then once DJ went down, it was like, hey, Mike, you're our scout team quarterback now. So for the 4 weeks before that, I did do a little bit, obviously repping and doing some workouts, and Coach Hill sent me down with Mead, so my personal trainer, Mead, hitting me with some retirement workouts. Nothing crazy, but, you know, getting the body back into shape. So after I hit that for about 4 weeks, and then obviously once Hunter went down, you know, stood up out of the box, took the headset off, like, do I need to go down the sideline? And at that time, the coaches were more like, just shut up and sit down right now. And so then obviously get to Sunday, and coaches – you're suiting back up. We go through the waiver process. Everything went good. Thank you to Massey. Thank you to the guys that do that stuff. They worked plenty of hours that they didn't need to do and to get me back here. So I thank those people and thank Coach Hill. But it was a journey. It was fun, and it's been fun. And, I mean, we got 4 more weeks to do it. And you know, that's what Coach Rowland was like, find your why. And he was like, Mike, your why is you get to play football again. So there you go. Like, what else could more I want? So
you've never thrown a pass in your college career until Saturday. Perfect going into, you know, having the opportunity to be able to do that. You, of course, throw your first touchdown, as you mentioned, in the emotions of the sideline. Yeah. But to go through the game, like, how did it feel? I mean, like, as you were in the moment.
Good, really. Honestly, it felt like I, you know, hadn't been out that long, really. Honestly, I didn't have much. Obviously, the nerves are there. You're just a little nervous. But just like I wasn't out there. I felt, saw it all, saw what I wanted to see, saw the defense. Nothing was going too fast. Like, really felt good to be back out there just with the guys. And it helps with the guys you're playing with, Chase, Jake. Like, those guys, you know, they're in the huddle like, hey, let's go. Let's do this thing. Like, so right, knowing that, like, it's just all confidence. And the coaches have prepared us. And my game plan was my game plan, so I knew exactly what I needed to do. And really, I mean, it felt great. There's no other word. I mean, it was just exciting to be back out there.
It's clear, Michael, as you're going throughout the year and even with this team, you look at Jake progressing and getting better each and every rep. You saw, of course, the offense under DJ and the offense even under Hunter as the year was going along. What's impressed you as a guy who's been around college football as long as you have to see really the fire that Jake Curry has been thrown into and the situation, how he's responded from your seat?
Yeah. I mean, one, Jake is a heck of a kid, heck of a person, mature for his age, and came in obviously in the winter, so early enrollee guy. But we all kind of put, me, Derek, and Hunter all kind of put him under our wing. Like, this is the young cat. We're all seniors. Obviously, we've all been in his shoes, and supposed to be in high school. You're missing prom, missing things like that. But so we kind of took Jake in, like, hey, come over to our house. Let's watch the game. So that's what just leading him on to show him the path. And then once those guys got injured, when we all saw it, he's running over a defender, talking crap to the guy. Like, yeah. Jake's got some fire to him. And that's what, I think that's what our coaching staff, I think that's what our team sees. Like, might be undersized, this, that, like, young freshman. No, Jake's got fire to him. And he's going out there, and obviously stuff's not been perfect by any means, and our offense has not been the best, but we all know that. But I think Jake himself has done an unreal job in being thrown into a literal fire. He really was. And to go face the number one team in your first start, and you're sitting out there and you're confident as ever, and the kid doesn't blink. He's in there, he's throwing balls, whole shots, he's throwing the ball around the field, and it's impressive. And that's what I think Jake is going from here. He's going to go very high, and it's only going to get better from now.
You've been able and very fortunate, Michael, to see it from different viewpoints this year, from being a coach to now being coach/player, being now one of the captains being named for the team. You know what the morale has been like with this group. You see it each and every day. I see you guys at practices all the time, can add to it. But from your standpoint, from the different perspectives you've had, how would you describe the team culture day to day, how everybody's come back to work, regardless of obviously the results and what they've been?
I can one thing I'd say is, like, our record is not what the culture is here. Like, it doesn't show what our work ethic is. It doesn't show what these guys have done, and it doesn't reflect how it is. 2-6 is not how this program, what anybody here would have thought. Obviously we opened up as a top whatever team, that doesn't matter at all. But just how we handle ourselves every day is far from that. So I don't want anybody in the fans, anybody to get like, oh, that team doesn't know. This team's working, and we're trying. And obviously injuries and stuff, not making excuses for us, but a lot of things have went bad. And in a lot of seasons, like this season, Coach Hill, we watched, our scout team's got 2 coaches helping. We got defensive guys on offense, and we got our quarterback on the scout team's our special teams coordinator. So stuff like that. I can promise you, this team is the morale, the stick together. This team's not batting an eye at anything. The record is the record, but I can promise you the name on your back, your chest, and just improving for the future, which a lot of guys are going to be returning on this team, and that's what I think our mindset's at. So I wouldn't say anybody's worried or shying away from anything or trying to split, where you'd see a lot of teams split right here. Like, I think this team is still together, and they know that maybe our goal did not get reached, but there's still other things to accomplish and play for.
What are the biggest things you believe, Michael, this team can accomplish still in these last 4 games?
It's just about playing for, pride, I guess. It's like a cliche little, but really just to play for, there's a name on your chest, the SIU Salukis, and then there's a name on your back of your last name. Your family's in the crowd, and that's what Coach Hill talks about. Like, a lot of these guys got reps. Like, there's a lot of reps to be out here. There's a lot of freshmen. There's a lot of sophomores that are playing right now. And then you got 3-4 more years left, and he points me out and Chase out as the old guys. You guys got nothing left, but like, Mike, you're playing so you get to play football again. And exactly, like, I'm out there, I want to play football again. There's guys that maybe want to play the league. There's guys that need to get film, and that's what it is. So obviously your championship aspirations are out, and that's what it is. But we know that these reps now help lead to championships in the future for a lot of these guys.
And talking this through of, man, when it can be done. And there was a moment where you thought it could be done. Yeah. And now here you are, you got these bumps and bruises on you. I wish we could showcase them all for the Saluki fans that are watching. They're pretty drastic, but like, it's got to be a really good thing for this team that they have someone like you, Michael, where literally it was thought, I'm done. Never going to play. Now you get that shot again. Yeah. But what you continue to do each and every day is really such a blessing.
Yeah. No, that's what Coach Hill had me a little emotional when he named me captain of the week, obviously. Yeah. Like, that is something that I wouldn't have thought was happening. And when he mentioned, like, all right, captains for the game, you wouldn't think your name's getting called and you're just coming back for a week. But, he kind of explained, like, I've done it right here my whole time, and that's what I've prided myself on this whole time, is being a leader. And, I've been here. Obviously, I transferred, but I've been here. I feel as if I've been here the whole time. Like, everybody here, love everybody here. I've been a teammate to every guy on this team for multiple years, official visits. I might have been a host to multiple of these guys. So really, I mean, this is a team that cares about each other, and it's from the top down. And like Coach Orr was saying, he doesn't think this would be a team that would ever split, and I can promise you this ain't a team. It would never. This is a team that loves each other. These are guys that are far, and you're watching football together. We're going to, a lake or whatever it is. This team's doing it together, and this team's going to fight together. I can promise you that.
So much of Missouri State this year, people go to their offense and should. Their offense is very gaudy. They're putting up really good numbers. But they got a good defense as well, and that's why they're nationally ranked. And again, if they were eligible to go to the postseason, they would no question be going. They're in the conference championship hunt this year. What's impressed you from just the film you've been able to watch of Missouri State and the challenge that awaits you guys on Saturday?
They're a big team. I mean, they're long, they're lengthy, athletic, some big guys inside the box. But as you've shown, a lot of teams have shown that you can score points on them, and that comes with the right game plan, that comes with execution. And I think that's what we're going to – obviously that's our goal, is to execute and to play really well and play fast and to get a win and to get back in the winning locker room. But – like you said, they got a really good offense. Their quarterback's really good. They got a lot of athletes. They're recruiting to go play FBS football. That's what they're doing, and it's kind of showing. 4-0 in the conference is a heck of a goal, and that's what we're going to do and we're going to win. And that there's no other no other thing you can say about it. We're going to win the football game.
Absolutely no other options.
No, that's exactly
for the Salukis come Saturday. Michael, really appreciate you taking the time to come in, to join us here on the show this week, but more importantly, appreciate your friendship this year, getting to know you, of course, as a coach. And now, hey, I told you, I always was thinking at the start of the year, how is my Lindauer touchdown call going to sound? And you know what? You were able to deliver it on Saturday,
No,
Lindy.
Thank you. It's been awesome. The support you give us, I mean, all the guys love you, and how you've been able to, just my dad, the fans, people listening right now, what you've been able to do and open up how we connect to them and you can connect through us, and it's been awesome what you do for us, so thank you.
No, appreciate it, Lindy. Let's get a win on Saturday, all right?
Exactly. Thank you.
Once again, that was Michael Lindauer joining us. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back here on the program, Coach Orr joins us from Saluki Soccer. They got a big one this week as they begin postseason play. This is Inside Saluki Athletics, presented by Pagliai of Carbondale. Pagliai's Pizza is more than just a restaurant. It's a Southern Illinois tradition with new owners Jason and Sula, and SAU alumni. They continue the legacy of excellence set by our founders. Every visit to Pagliai's promises the same exceptional quality and warm, welcoming atmosphere that customers have loved for decades. Here to close out Inside Saluki Athletics, presented by our friends at Pagliai's of Carbondale, is none other than a man who's going to be still busy this week with conference play heating up this weekend in Nashville. They'll be on the road to start off against Indiana State. It's Coach Orr, the head coach of Saluki Soccer. Coach, congratulations on being able to make the tournament. I know that was a goal for your group going into this thing, and with as balanced as the league is, as we were talking about before, I think everybody, when you get to this time of year, if you play to your capability, you really believe you have a chance to keep this season going for a while.
Yeah, no, thanks. Congratulations is much appreciated there, Luke. I'll pass that on to the team because they thoroughly deserve it. I think we spoke about in January about this marathon analogy, and it certainly does feel like that. And, we're fortunate enough to still be in it, where a lot of teams across the country now are in a dead period and waiting for that off-season. So, we're just grateful to have the next opportunity to go and fight again on Thursday.
What were the biggest things your group took away from the conference season, Coach Orr? A little bit of a split where your first 5 didn't get a loss. Last 5 couldn't find that official win column, but there were still a lot of matches that were right there in the balance in those last 5. How would you describe how the conference season really went for the group?
Yeah, well, it is the process, right? So we talk about that marathon of, it's not going to be straightforward. It's not just going to be a sprint finish. And certainly, those first 5 games, we're really delighted with the points accumulation. But we also knew some of them games could have gone either way. I think when you look at the last 5 we had, I made a few mistakes tactically that if I could get back, I would change. But I was really delighted with a number of our performance levels. And I think, especially against Drake the other night, who have proven to be, one of the top teams in the league. Yeah. I think they were commented of how good the performance we put in what an intense game it became. And then against Missouri State, we tried a different tactic and we ran them close to the last 4 minutes. So we have to take confidence from that. I think at this stage of the season, everybody has a fresh slate, so form kind of goes out the window. There's a few new variables that come into it. With us being the 8th seed, there's a little bit of pressure off, and now these teams that are seeded above us will be looking to try and capitalise in that. But we know now it's about getting it done on the day and hopefully having an opportunity to advance to the next stage.
Does it matter whether it's Coach Nagy in basketball, Coach Hill football, Coach Rhodes in baseball, whichever head coach I've had the chance to interact with? Look, we all look at what we do internally as our harshest critic and go, man, this is where I could have been better. And you mentioned, hey, these are areas where I could have helped out our team better. But in terms of overall this year, in year 2, Coach Orr, from a tactical standpoint, stylistic standpoint, have you made more of the strides that you want to where, hey, this is more of what kind of the vision that I had of why I wanted the program to look like, also understanding, knowing, hey, there's many more things that you continue to want to improve on and make it look better?
Yeah, well, I think we mentioned last time about the structure we had, and I think that's important, especially when you do come up against adversity and you lose some of these closer games, right? You're able to then go back to that structure and that process rather than, ripping it up and starting again. And I think, credit to the players that we've had. It's really been their application, their determination, and being receptive to going out and trying again, right? But we still have the same process and principles of play that we want to go and do, and I think that's helped us, and I think that will give us confidence going into Thursday's game, because it's a team that we've played twice in the last 2 years. In fact, we played them in the spring as well. So we played them 3 times, so there's a little bit of familiarity there. The 2 games in regular seasons have been both ties. So, I think the styles, it's a right battle, and I think the girls will be looking forward to that opportunity to play in a neutral site now.
When you get to this time of year, so much really gets ramped up, the intensity level, everything, because everybody understands that if you can't keep going, your season ends here, which there's so much where you fall back on what your program's built on and those fundamentals and everything you said of what you preach daily in your program. What gives you the confidence level, Coach Orr, that you really like the makeup of your group, of what they've learned this year, the steps they've made, and those seniors you've really been able to rely on this year to get you to the postseason for only the 2nd time in program history?
Yeah, well, I think after Sunday's performance, I could see a lot of the older girls standing up and kind of talking to the group, especially when emotion was still high, and, expressing maybe their frustration and opportunities to go and capitalise that on Thursday. And I think when you look at the leaders that we have in the team and the older kids, I think that they're grateful for this opportunity because they know, this time last year we were done, right?
Yeah.
And now, they didn't have to come back and play for me. We live in a world now where there's freedom of trade almost like at this level, right? So they had the opportunity to go anywhere. So I'm grateful that they stood here at SIU and fought for the jersey. And, and to be honest, I'm really appreciative of that and grateful that we're able to go and give them the opportunity to play in the postseason, because it's only something that the program's only experienced once before. So I think when you put it into perspective of that, like what an achievement it is for this group to go and do it. And I think for the younger ones, then it gives them that kind of experience that hopefully there'll be a tradition of it happening every year.
It's hard to spotlight just one individual, Coach Orr. For your team to get to this point, it's a team improvement. It's a team success. It's not just one lady. But when you look at your team this year, kind of go through your group of, wow, like, she's improved so much throughout the year. She's improved so much without the year. Like, as you look at what's gotten your team to this point, like, who are some of the ladies on your team where you're like, wow, like, it's everybody, but this core group here are the reasons why we have a chance now moving forward here in the postseason play.
Yeah, you're right. I'm all about the team, and I was actually talking to Chris Duckworth the other day. He comes and helps out a lot of our sessions, and he was just commenting on how the improvement and intensity of the whole group. And I think, like, one of the things that illustrates that is the robust nature of them. You know, maybe last year we have 4 or 5 that are injured at this stage of the season just because they've not put the volume of the hard work in. So when you play every Thursday, Sunday, it's really demanding. And I think this year, when you see some of the kids that have been here for 3 or 4 years, how they've been able to, you know, still be fresh at this stage of the season is credit to their hard work and what they've put in since January. So when you look at that 5th year senior class, you know, like somebody like Ashlyn Henry's been through 2 surgeries and doesn't really need to be back out there, right? But given everything she has, Mackenzie Bunge has obviously come in and added a lot of numbers to her game. Somebody had only scored 1 goal, you know, in previous years, and now, you know, sitting there going to be the leading top goal scorer for the programme. But, you know, you look at all of them as a whole, you know, as I said, like the Riley Malicks, McKinley Stiffs, Kylie McDermott's, all these players, they didn't have to continue to play, right? They could have easily graduated early, they could have gone and got themselves into the workforce, but there was something that they wanted to do to stay here and achieve something, and we talk about this word legacy, and now, you know, by qualifying for the tournament, they've cemented that, and they've obviously sparked that with the younger kids and started that tradition, and now it's about creating history. I don't believe the programme's ever won a game in post-season, so that gives us an opportunity. If we're good enough to go and do it, that'll be, you know, a fantastic feather for their cap.
Coach Orr, we'll get you out of here on this note. When you're a fan or even a media type like myself, everybody can get caught up in, okay, what's the path? When you're a coach, when you're a player, you're like, there is no path if you're not successful that first game. So I know all focuses on Indiana State. You've brought up the history of with Coach Lawrence and that program where been really close matches when you've played. There literally have been ties coming down to the very end. What stylistically are going to be really the biggest keys for your group to get off to a good start there in Nashville at Belmont against Indiana State?
Yeah, well, it's funny. Like, I've known Paul for a number of years, a great person, and, you know, a lot of kind of history there and close ally friends. But we hadn't ever played each other until he moved to Indiana State and I moved to here. So it's given us an opportunity to then have, you know, a kind of friendly rivalry. But I think when you look at every game, you know, there's been little moments here or there. If you take that opportunity, it gives you the chance. What I must say is what a fantastic job he's done. Credit to him. You know, he's changed that programme around, and, you know, especially at home, they've been a real force to reckon with. So I was really pleased with our resilience to come back from being a goal down there to get a draw, because I think that's one of the positive results they've had against them at home this season. So when it comes down to it, listen, it's about who can really show that composure on the day. You know, I think it will be a tight game. I think it will be a very intense game, because I think both players bring that, and I think both coaches do that. And, you know, obviously I wish them the best of luck, but hopefully not on Thursday, you know.
Yes, as you said, Thursday will be the tournament game against Indiana State. Action on the pitch will begin at 5:30 on Thursday in Nashville. It's not a long drive, Saluki Nation. I know Coach Lawrence and the ladies would appreciate to see some maroon make their way over to Nashville. And as you said, Coach Orr, second time you've been able to make it in the program history in terms of the Valley Tournament. It's kind of an obvious question, I know, here on our way out. What would it mean to you? What would it mean to the girls to get that first postseason win? Southern's been here this before. They haven't been able to get that win yet when they've gotten to postseason play. How much would that mean to be the first team to do that in the young history of this program?
Yeah, well, I mean, as I said, I'm extremely proud of what they've done from now, and it's important that I feel you always teach the team history so they know where they've come from. And then it's up to the ladies, you know. What it would mean, you probably have to ask me Thursday night if it kind of happens. As I said, I just want us to go out and be focused this week and give ourselves the best opportunity to do that, right? It's an extremely tough conference. You know, you talk about the path. You only know the path because you're playing at Belmont. If you weren't playing at Belmont, you wouldn't know who was next. But whoever goes and advances into it will be very fortunate to do that and have an extremely hard game against Belmont, who would be rested. So, you know, both teams will be solely focused on this game on Thursday and won't be holding anything back when it comes to it. You know, maybe in regular season, sometimes you're like, right, maybe should I rest this player? Or everybody's just going to play their cards and their best players that they feel can go and get the job done. And hopefully we do create history. But as long as we leave everything out there and we follow, you know, the plan, I'll be extremely proud of my team.
Coach Orr, congratulations. Saluki Nation really proud of you and the team and the work you put in this year, understanding, knowing that there's more you want to accomplish this week. We hope this time next week when we have a show, I'm giving updates and that you're still playing come next week. I know that would mean a lot to all of you.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, we're not just going there to enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
We're going there to try and take care of business, but we understand, you know, it's going to take a A game.
Coach Orr, good luck this week. We'll be watching on Thursday night.
Thank you very much. All the best.
That does it for this week's edition of Inside Saluki Athletics. We want to thank all of our guests today. The head coach, Nick Hill, Michael Lindauer from Saluki Football, Davion Sykes from Saluki Men's Basketball, and Coach Graham Orr, who just joined us from Saluki Soccer. You can listen to the show on archive on the Saluki Royalty Podcast Network. You can also watch it on all of our platforms on social media. For everybody in Saluki Athletics, thank you for watching Inside Saluki Athletics, presented by Pagliai of Carbondale. We will see you tonight inside Banterra Center. As always, go Dogs.
This has been Inside Saluki Athletics, presented by Pagliai of Carbondale. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Saluki Sports Network.